What's up guys, my name's Dychronic, you're here on this Destiny 2 video. Today we're going to be talking about this week at Bungie for August 9th, 2018. This week, they're giving us a lot of miscellaneous information that's coming to Forsaken. So this one's going to be a bit of a long one just because there's a lot of little details that are interesting to know but not super critical. For the most part, I honestly would just go read this to yourself because there is just a lot of things to go over. So either sit back and relax and just turn on this thing to listening, or go out and read this. Again, it will be linked in the description down below if you want to check it out. So first things first, if you have not seen, there was a live stream on Twitch as well as YouTube where they talked about the new weapon system, like the new weapon mod system, the new slot system with like shotguns in the primary. They went through a lot of these things and they showed off a lot of different stuff, so make sure you check out this stuff. There might be some highlights and recaps on the internet, so make sure you check those out. Speaking of mods, all of your weapon and armor mods will be changed and made obsolete on August 28th. So pretty much all of your mods will be depreciated. So for the most part, use them as you want them or as you need them. They are going to be going away. So all of your damage type mods, all of the weapon mods, the armor mods, almost all of them are going to be depreciated. So you can basically just dismantle them on August 28th. It'll say which ones you'll not be able to use anymore, and the new system will take over. So for the most part, if you want a particular weapon to be a particular type, for example, you want your Drang to be solar or arc or whatever it is, make sure you lock that in as soon as you can. Because those things apparently will be locked in with the new system. As well as some other things that will be locked into certain types. For example, the Ikello sniper and shotgun will be locked into solar. There's a couple of other legendary weapons that will be moving to kinetic slot, including this whole list of things. Some things that I didn't notice is sniper rifle, shotgun, sniper rifle, shotgun. And I don't know what these two are, but I think that they're snipers and shotguns, if I'm going to be honest. We already knew that there were going to be snipers and shotguns in the primary slot, but it's just so odd to see so many of these, things like Hawthorns and Paradox, Alone as a God, all of these things going into the kinetic slot and never being able to use it again as an elemental weapon. So it's definitely very odd, and it's a little uncomfortable. Coming up next is going to be the Dreaming City trailer. They were basically a tiny little sneak peek into the raid that's coming with Forsaken. It's a 2-minute video. My internet's terrible right now, which is why it's doing a spinny thing. I did pause it, but it's doing a spinny thing. I recommend you watch this. It's actually pretty good. Again, link in the description down below. Check out the TWAB, and it will be the second video on the page. Again, the first one, the live stream, is going to be up here. So now we get on to the miscellaneous things, and you'll see what I mean as I start to speak really, really fast. They talk about a lot of little things that are going to be changing in year 2. So buckle in, this is going to be a wild ride. First part says, hey, we want to make you feel like you actually did something by getting max power. That's all it really said, and they said that they have goals with that. As far as acquisition of power, there's a whole bunch of stuff they talk about here. It's pretty much standard. If you play Destiny for a while, you pretty much understand how this goes. Some slight changes, however, is that they're going to be giving you better rewards for fighting difficulties that are harder for you. So if you're, for example, 40 power levels under the recommended level, you should expect more potent rewards. If you are above the level or at the right amount of level, you will still see rewards that are better for you. Next up, let's talk about milestones. In the past, Bungie has had somewhat of a hard-on when it comes to this little milestone tray. They're all like, oh, no more, we're gonna see those big milestones in the big tray here, and their idea was that they wanted to put them on the particular area that they belong. So you can see these little symbols, these yellow symbols. Starting at Forsaken, these yellow symbols are gonna be your powerful rewards. For example, this is gonna be the Crucible one. So instead of being in this milestone tray, they're going to be here. You can basically go to the activity that has this little symbol. Presumably, maybe this is the flashpoint, maybe this is where the mission is taking place, and these are all the milestones like Heroic Strikes and Nightfalls, Gambit, powerful reward, and then finally Crucible, stuff like this. That's going to be inside these little things. I don't think that's really that important to tell us so much about it, but maybe it's going to be something different. Something I would like to point out about this particular screenshot is that there's no Leviathan on this screen. Is this where all the archived extra activities are, or is this just missing the Leviathan? Where the hell did the Leviathan go? I understand this is the new raid lair, the new raid stuff here. I thought this was like a cinematic at first, but where the hell is the Leviathan? It's not here anymore. That's weird to take out that much content. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. In this section, they talk about how they're changing strikes. There's no longer heroic strikes. Instead, you're going to have these 3 different powered strikes. If you're a Forsaken player, if you're a Legacy player, this should be tabbed over a little bit. You're going to have a recommended 200 playlist, so you can play still the year 1 stuff if you want to play it. And each time, if you're a Forsaken player, you pass a certain threshold, or you're above 50 above or 40 above it, the previous one will disappear. So as soon as you hit 340, you'll no longer be able to do the 300 playlist, and it makes it so you're basically forced to do the hardest one that you should be doing, which should give the best rewards, so you probably want to do it anyways. Next up, there's going to be a lot of changes to the Nightfall. Firstly, Prestige is going to be retired and the base difficulty of Nightfall will increase. More importantly, players will have the ability to choose one of 3 Nightfall strikes each week. That's actually pretty big. Basically, they did that so people can choose which one they want for that particular unique that they have been chasing. For example, getting Tree of Probabilities is somewhat difficult for people that don't play every single day or every single week like I do. So in this, they can actually pick one of 3 so they can guarantee they get those uniques that they want to go for. At least they can go grind for those. Part of me thinks that that's a good idea for people that don't play a lot, but also it doesn't make Nightfalls as special anymore. You don't say, hey, you want to do the Nightfall this week. You ask, well, which strike do you want to do? Next up, meditations are being retired and replaced with a heroic story playlist. If you have Legacy, basically if you don't have Forsaken, you'll be able to play it anyways with whatever ones that you should have been playing. Likewise, Ikora Ray's Vanguard research will be retired and removed, and you can no longer get her gear that you've been able to get since the beginning of the game with her tokens, so make sure you get that before Forsaken and August 28th. Heroic Adventures will also be added to all destinations. If it's the flashpoint that week on a particular week, they'll be added to that particular destination, 1 per day for the entire week. If it's on Mars and Mercury, they'll get 1 additional on top of the one that they had. Something kind of interesting, activity modifiers will be shared across Heroic Adventures, Heroic Missions, and Strikes. So if you know the 3 modifiers that are on Strikes that particular day, you know what all of them are going to be. You can pretty much just know what that is for the day. They mentioned very briefly how they're going to buff Grenadier and Brawler to make them recharge faster, which is nice because, you know, we don't get grenades like we did Torrent, and Torrent was just really fun. So they're probably making it so it's more fun, and perhaps you're going to want to use Brawler and Grenadier more often. Oh man, that was a mouthful, and it's not even done yet. I'm telling you, there's so much stuff going on. Economy updates. This is actually going to be an interesting one. I actually misunderstood it first. Destination materials. If you don't know, destination materials are those things you find on the planet. Not the tokens, but the materials on the ground. So things like Seraphite, things like Dado Lattice. Wait, Dado Lattice. I always thought it was... No. You know what? I'm getting confused. I keep thinking it's Dado Lettuce, but don't worry about me. So destination materials will become your main source of reputation of their respective destination, as well as destination materials will be part of the cost to infuse different weapons and armors across your arsenal. I assume this will be for the particular destination. For example, if you're on Titan, you need the Titan material to infuse the Titan gear. I don't know if it's all gear. All I know is that in Destiny 1, that's how it worked with the spindle and stuff, and it was a terrible system, so hopefully it's not going to be like that, because farming materials in the wild was just a nightmare, and I hate it. The gunsmith in the future on Season 4 will cost more materials. Instead of 40 per level, it will be 100 per level, which is nice because, you know, I have literally 7 stacks of 999 gunsmith materials. It's very clear for people who play this a lot that the gunsmith is not expensive whatsoever. Iron Banner, Vanguard, Crucible tokens earned in Season 3 may be redeemed by the respective things in Season 4. However, Trials of the Nine will be taking hiatus, so Trials of the Nine will not be appearing in Season 4. And Season 4 will last about 4 months. Pretty much there's 3 seasons per year. Coming up, let's talk about Iron Banner. Next Iron Banner is going to be happening next week on August 14th to the 21st. There's going to be some changes to it. Firstly, the control points have been changed to flaming braziers. Basically, they're cooler. But on top of that, the power play is going to be changed. For example, if you control all of these flags at the exact same time, instead of just saying power play, you're going to be locked into a power play for 20 seconds. That's right, for 20 seconds, you'll be able to have a power play with the 3 times more points, and that's pretty much going to decide who's going to win that match. So power plays will be very important. Objective play will be very important in Iron Banner. Speaking of Iron Banner and Trials of the Nine, power advantages will be enabled in Season 4. However, obviously Trials of the Nine will not be available for Season 4. In Iron Banner, they will be advantages. which means if you have Forsaken, you will have a distinct advantage over people who do not have Forsaken, which is pretty bad. They do mention a couple of times that we didn't want to exclude anybody to compete and reap the rewards. However, it does seem like if you have Forsaken, you're 600 power. If you don't have Forsaken, you're like 300 power or 380 power, and that's just not fair whatsoever. So for the most part, you pretty much have to have Forsaken to play Iron Banner, and that is very disappointing. However, I don't know how they're going to do it. Perhaps they're going to do it as a percentage. So if you're 385 and your maximum is 385, then you'll be able to fight the same level as Forsaken people. I don't know how it's going to work, but it does seem unfair at the moment. On top of Trials going away for Season 4, so is Faction Rallies. They're going to be improving it, making it so it's not so hardcore of a grind, and they're also going to be making those exotic weapon catalysts available from those Faction Rallies. They don't say how they're going to be, but they're going to be available beginning Season 4 in some way. So if you haven't gotten your Graviton, Sunshot, or your Sweet Business Catalyst, you will be able to get it at the beginning of Season 4 in some undisclosed way. Whew! Oh man, such a mouthful when we're like halfway down the page. I'm telling you, this one is a doozy. So let's talk about Eververse. Firstly, this is gonna be in the game in Season 4. Not that bombastic, but it's kind of cute that they're gonna be adding it. A bunch of different things are gonna be added to Eververse. For example, the Prismatic Matrix will be returning for the entire season. You'll get a facet every single week for the Prismatic Matrix. You'll be able to do all these things on Bungie.net if you care, which you shouldn't because they're garbage. You'll get more Bright Dust earned from the new bounty system, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit. You'll get Ghost Projections, which is what this thing up here is. You'll get things like legendary weapon skins, which is really cool, new exotic emotes and ornaments, lots of interesting stuff. So let's talk about Eververse Bounties. The way I understand it is you're gonna try to get these things called Eververse Bounty Notes. And then you get these things from getting Bright Engrams during Season 4. And as you get them, you can accumulate them to trade them in for certain tiered bounties from Eververse. You can get a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, and the reward will be better the higher tier you get it. So it's in your best interest to save up and get the tier 3. Technically, you can only carry one of each at a time. Perhaps you can just go for the tier 3s the whole time, which seems to be the best way to do it. Prismatic Matrices pretty much will be the same as before, with some minor changes that we don't really know about much. Bright Dust, though, will have more chances of dropping in the wild, and different things from dismantling will be more of a fixed rate rather than an oscillating rate between two different bounds. Collections, it'll work just as we understand it. If you delete something, you get Bright Dust. To get that item back from collections, you have to pay Bright Dust, with exceptions to the Eververse armor, because those things will have random rolls. On top of that, Bright Engrams will have a bit of a change. Weapon and armor mods, instead of those droppings, will be dropping those bounty notes that I just talked about, because these weapon and armor mods going to be changed in the Forsaken. Oh my god, it's not even over yet. So many little miscellaneous crap. Crucible Labs. The next part is out right now. They're going to be doing a mode called Showdown, I think. I don't know what Showdown yet. Showdown is what they're doing. I don't know what Showdown is, but it has 10 rounds, and they changed it a little bit. I think this was the first Crucible Lab, but I don't remember what it is. It's there if you want it. I don't want to talk about it because I've been talking so long. Let's talk about something important, for example, 3 times Valor. Let's go! So we're going to be having a bunch of increased Valor weekends as we go along throughout these next few weeks. The first Valor weekend is going to be a double Valor week starting on August 10th, which is tomorrow on Friday. So we'll be going basically from Friday to Friday. Will not line up with Mayhem. The end of the Mayhem week will be a triple Valor weekend, so you can save your Mayhem time to that particular week. And then very final thing from the 24th to the 28th, which is only like 5 days, will be the final section of double Valor weekend, which the 28th is gonna be that Tuesday, the week before Forsaken comes out. Whew. That is pretty much all the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. If you want to look up and see some bug reports, if you're having issues with the game, for example, some Solstice issues, come to this page. There's help articles. You can send a tweet at Bungie. You can go to their hashtag help section on their website. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to read this because I've been reading for quite a while, and I've made this video quite large. If you had problems, come here and go check out what they've figured out for the workarounds and their help articles and all that stuff. And finally, we have the movies of the week. I haven't watched either one of these, but this one's about dancing, and this is the guy who did Whisper the Worm, Heroic Solo. So this is actually not that impressive. I just want to point out, because the Whisper the Worm is really good at killing all the bosses at the end, and and whatnot. And then finally, shout out to my boy Dado. Let's go, Dado! Second place in Nightfall. I didn't do the Nightfall this week. I really should be doing the Nightfall these weeks because I can actually get somewhere like near these boys. But anyways, that is the TWAB this week. Hopefully I cut out a whole bunch of stuff there. If you have questions, let me know down below. I will try to answer those as soon as I can, but honestly, just go to this site and read it. There is a whole bunch of stuff to go over, and I might have missed something. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Hashtag made it to the puppies. I will try to remember to put them in the video, but they should be on screen now. If I didn't put them on screen, please crucify me in the comments. But if they are, thank you for staying all the way to the end. Hashtag made it to the puppies. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name is the Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.